Hey everybody, it's Mike. I'm back. Took a couple days off, and now I'm back. We got some stuff to talk about. And so first thing I want to do is I want to hit right to the intro. Go right there. And I love that intro. It is so wonderful. Okay, so look, I've been away for a couple days, and I just want to say, I want to give a shout out to all the Scientology protesters out there, Winter Wonderland, protesting that. Everybody, I don't have to say it, but I want to say it. Everybody protesting Scientology or whatever cult you're protesting, wherever you are, please be careful. Because they are crazy, and they will do crazy things. And they don't like to be challenged as far as their cult. So you challenge their crazy beliefs and their whole existence, and some of them go nuts. They take it personally. They get violent. Definitely get violent. So Scientology protesters out there at the Winter Wonderland and at the any Scientology building, please be careful. It's not like they're going to come out of the building and attack you, but they will come out of the shadows, and they will either not people that live there, but people that can get away, that it can't be traced back. And I'm telling you, you just got to be careful. That's it. But, you guys are the real heroes out there in L.A. and around the world, in Boston, Chicago, San Antonio, everywhere. In Europe, in Canada, in the UK, everywhere. You guys are doing a great job representing the public and the public's disdain and hatred for dangerous cults that abuse children and abuse women and abuse everybody. They abuse everybody, okay? We want to focus on the women and the children and the elderly and the vulnerable, but everybody, they abuse everyone. And kids can't consent, but adults can't consent when they're being lied to, they're being bullied, they're being coerced, they're being manipulated. So, just like there's laws against, false advertising. You can't false advertise a product. You can't promise results that it can't give. You can't make false claims and manipulate people with false claims. You can't sell a used car and say it's a new car. You can't, there are laws, there's protections for false advertising, but cults and religions, they can false advertise all they want. They can tell you any story they want, and they make it up. And then people buy it, they believe it. Because they don't know any better. Because there's no laws against that. L. Ron Hubbard could make up a story about Xenu and body thetans and e-meters and charge you $10,000 a session or whatever, and there's no law against it. Now, Nabisco or Ford Motor Company or any other company that sells a product, they can't do that. They can't sell an e-meter and say this is going to do something and it doesn't do it. They'll get sued. There's laws against that. But Scientology can do it. Scientology does it all day long, all night long, all 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Scientology is making false claims. They're selling a product that doesn't work, it doesn't do anything. They're charging lots of money for it, and there's no law against it. Absolutely no law against it. And Hare Krishnas are doing the same thing. Chant this mantra. Follow these 4 regulative principles. Don't eat meat. Don't have sex. Don't gamble. Don't get intoxicated. Whatever. Don't do this. Come to the temple. Get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Go read these books. Do all this stuff, and you'll reach another level of consciousness. You'll reach another level of love of God. And all this other crap. There's no proof of that. There's no reality to that. But they can do it. They get away with it. They ruin people's lives. Don't talk to your friends. Don't talk to your family. They're not Hare Krishna. They don't know what they're talking about. They're eating meat. They're doing all those 4 things that you're not doing. So you shouldn't even talk to them. You shouldn't have anything to do with them. And you shouldn't even have a job. Just come move into the temple and live with us. And we'll take care of you. We'll feed you. We'll give you a place to sleep. What more do you need? And people do it. Because they don't know any better. And there's no law against it. There's no law against them manipulating your mind and selling you something that doesn't work, that's fake and false and phony. There's no law against it. But anyone else, any real company that has a real product, they can't do that. They can't sell you a machine that says it's going to do something and it doesn't do it. They can't sell you a vacuum cleaner that doesn't vacuum. They can't sell you a car that doesn't work. It's against the law. They can't do it. But Hare Krishna can sell you a whole way of life, a whole belief system, a whole thing, and change your life and make you give up your family, your friends, your kids, everything. And there's no law against that. And that doesn't work any more than a vacuum cleaner that doesn't suck, or a car that doesn't drive, or a bike that has no wheels, or whatever it is. It's no different. But they can get away with it under this stupid label of religion. Religion doesn't have to work. They can sell you a religion, it doesn't have to work. And when it doesn't work, it's your fault. You're the reason why it doesn't work. You're the reason why the Holy Ghost hasn't come into your heart. You haven't prayed enough. You haven't revealed enough. You haven't done enough auditing yet. You haven't revealed enough of your secrets yet. You haven't chanted enough. You haven't sold enough books yet. You haven't, whatever it is, it's your fault that it's not working. If you fall down, if you're chanting Hare Krishna 10 years in a row, and then all of a sudden, that's your fault. It's not that the chanting doesn't work. It's you. You didn't chant sincere enough. You didn't chant pure enough. You didn't hear the sound as it came out of your mouth and into your ear. You didn't get up at 4 o'clock and go to Mangalartik enough. You didn't, whatever it is, it's your fault. You didn't do enough of it. You're the reason. It's not that the holy name is a bunch of bullshit and that chanting doesn't do anything, but occupy your time, keep you from reading the newspaper, keep you from understanding that you're being manipulated. That's all that does. It keep you focused on nonsense. Just like Scientology. If you have free time, you're gonna figure it out. But you gotta stay with other Scientologists. You gotta stay in the building. Don't listen to anybody on the outside. Hare Krishna. Don't read anything that's not Hare Krishna. Don't even read Krishna stuff if it's not from the founder. Like, you're completely isolated in the Hare Krishnas, just like Scientology. completely isolated from the outside world. You're not reading the newspaper, you're not reading books, you're not watching TV, you don't listen to the radio, you're not talking to anybody who's not a Krishna. The only thing you're hearing about is Krishna stuff. Just like Scientology, the only thing they're talking about is Scientology. Dianetics and this level and that level and auditing and this and that. It's their whole life. It's a wasted fucking life. A waste. And you know, when it's all made up and it's all imaginary, you can become an expert in no time. No time. It doesn't take any time at all, especially when it doesn't work, because you don't have to, there's no results. If I say I'm an expert salesman, I'm an expert car salesman, but I don't have to show you. I don't have to sell any cars. I can just tell you, oh yeah. When they walk into the lot, you do this, you do that. You take them out on a drive, and then you get them to sign the paper. It's easy. No problem. Have you ever sold a car? Me? No, I don't need to sell a car. But I'm the best car salesman. That's what these Hare Krishnas are. Who are they? Who is this girl to sit there and tell you how to be a Hare Krishna? She looks like she's 16, 17 years old. How long has she been chanting Hare Krishna? But she's somehow an expert at chanting Hare Krishna.
Senses, controlling the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. And my name is Chitra Lekadasi. I'm from Holland.
Do you read Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, I study Gita.
Do you remember any slok of Gita?
Well, I can tell you the first sloka that I ever learned, but it's not from the Gita. It's actually from Nectar of Instruction, which is written by Rupa Goswami. Vacha vegam manasa krodha vegam jivam.
You know, this shit makes me sick, because I know what's going on. First of all, she said, I studied the Bhagavad Gita. She doesn't look old enough to have studied anything. Studying something means you study it for years. She ain't studied the Bhagavad Gita for years. She read a couple books, and now she's an expert at controlling your tongue, controlling your genitals, controlling your belly, and all this other crap. What about the child molestation and the cult? What about the fact that Prabhupada appointed these inexperienced nobodies, idiots, stupid, whatever, as babysitters to kids? He put these people in charge of little kids, and they abused the fuck out of these kids. What about that? What about Prabhupada's inability to read people and understand that you gotta have experienced people in charge of kids? You can't just put a bunch of stupid hippies in charge of a bunch of kids? And what about the parents of those kids? Do they not have some responsibility for those kids? No, they just blindly followed this old man and put their kids in a school where their kids were abused. The whole thing is fucking disgusting. And then he says women like to be raped. Let's talk about that, Miss Lolita, whatever your name is. Do you think you like to be raped? Do you like to be raped? Do you like to be raped? Are women less intelligent? Are women 9 times lustier than men? I want to know more about your feelings on that. Do you think that little girls should be married to 25-year-old men? Do you think that 11 to 13-year-old girls should be married, that have to be married, forced into marriage? Do you think that little girl should be forced into marriage to an old man? Miss cosplaying as a gopi? I'm going to just cosplay as a gopi, and I just want to talk about the 4 regular principles. I don't want to talk about the history of this cult. The history of this cult that they're trying to keep from me that I don't know. Like, she sits there with a little smile on her face, beads around her neck. Does she even know what a disgusting fucking cult this is? She probably doesn't even know. But she's going to sit there and talk about how, like, she's going to act like she knows something. Well, control the mouth, the tongue, the bellies, the genitals. I learned a sloka from Rupa Goswami. What the fuck? Who gives a shit? What about the children that have been molested? What about the 25 kids that killed themselves because of this fucking cult? This fucking cult. What about all the homosexuals in the movement that went nuts and killed themselves? I know Jagjivan wasn't the only one. I know my friend wasn't the only one. Vishnu John. Why did Vishnu John kill himself in 1976? Why did Vishnu John, if he's chanting the holy name and he's in this ecstasy, he's got his guru Prabhupada that he's serving, why did he kill himself? Why did Janardana kill himself? Why did these 25 kids kill themselves? Why are kids still being molested in India today? Just in August, they had a big scandal with the kids being molested in India, and then the police protecting the molester. Well, let's talk about that. Why? Why did the temple arrest them? Oh, because the temple president was the molester. That's why. Because the temple president is the pedophile. What kind of cult is this? And now Bangladesh has the sense to ban this fucking cult, kick these people out of Bangladesh, and the whole fucking world is going crazy. Fuck ISKCON. Fuck ISKCON. Burn all their goddamn temples down because they're nothing but pedophile clusters, which is, history has shown that ISKCON is nothing but a friggin' pedophile cult. Mayapur, Vrindavan, Patna, everywhere. Every fucking where. Bhavananda, Lokanath, Kirtanananda, murdering devotees, banning, beating devotees, killing their founder. Anyone who knows the history of this cult would kick these people out of their neighborhood in a second. A second. Get your disgusting fucking cult out of here. Nobody wants you in their country. Nobody wants you in their neighborhood. Nobody wants you in their Martin Luther King Day parade. They just don't know. Otherwise, they'd kick your shit out so fast. The shit that you guys think about black people? The Negroes, as you call them? In 1977, using the word Negro? Like, nobody was using the word Negro except Hare Krishnas in 1977. And you think, everything you say about Negroes in Prabhupada's library is fucking racist. It's racist. Everything. He doesn't say one good thing about black people. He says they're drunkards, they're drug addicts, they're rapists, they're dangerous. White people don't like them. He says they should have stayed in the jungle. They never should have been given civil rights. He made fun of Abraham Lincoln, implying that Abraham Lincoln was stupid for freeing the slaves. That's what Prabhupada thought. That Abraham Lincoln was a failure for freeing the slaves. You know, I get so sick talking about these fuckers, man. And looking at people like this with her smug little smile on there, thinking she's changing the world because she's spreading Prabhupada's books, selling Prabhupada's books. Meanwhile, kids are being tortured and molested. Women are being beaten, and domestic violence is encouraged in Prabhupada's books. He's against democracy. He's against voting. He's against civil rights. He's against women's rights. He promotes child marriage. Who in their right mind would allow this crap in their country? Who? bullshit. And look at this. Look at this. This is our national, the United States, the head of our national security. The head of our national security in the United States is this fucking wacko. Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is a Hare Krishna. I've been saying it forever. Tulsi Gabbard is a Hare Krishna. She's always been a Hare Krishna. She was born a Hare Krishna. She was raised a Hare Krishna. And she is still a Hare Krishna.
Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Here she is promoting
Please
Prabhupada.
join me now as we chant the...
She's promoting Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. The guy who says women are less intelligent. Is she less intelligent? Prabhupada ki jai. The guy who promotes child marriage and says women are 9 times lustier than men, who says that black people belong in slavery or in the jungles. This is Tulsi Gabbard. This is really her. Here she is promoting Prabhupada, promoting the guy who wrote all that shit in his books. She's promoting it because she's a brainwashed cult member whose only job is to get into government so she can promote her fucking cult. And here she is doing exactly that.
of Krishna together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Please chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
So there you have it, folks. Hare Krishnas have infiltrated our government now. We have a fucking Hare Krishna as our national, the director of national intelligence is fucking Tulsi Gabbard, a goddamn Hare Krishna cult freak. So, you want to call that safe pointing. That is like the ultimate safe pointing. You're going to have Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, a Scientologist, and you got Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, as the Tulsi Gabbard, the Director of National Intelligence, is a fucking Hare Krishna. So now you got both a Scientologist and a Hare Krishna in the fucking Trump administration. These fucking cult people, man. Fucking cult people. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with the whole thing. I'm disgusted with Tulsi Gabbard. I'm disgusted with ISKCON. I'm disgusted with everything. I'm disgusted with everything.
On December 7, 2024, a video surfaced on social media showing 4 individuals brutally beating a cow. It was circulated with claims that the footage originated from Bangladesh and depicted an attack on an ISKCON cow farm by Muslims. However, an investigation by Rumor Scanner debunked this claim, revealing that the video was actually from Jalandhar, India, and not related to Bangladesh. Similarly, another video went viral on Indian social media, claiming that a Kali Mandir had been attacked by Muslims and that a Kali idol had been vandalized. Media outlets such as Zee News and RT India amplified this claim, reporting it as an incident from Bangladesh. However, our team from Rumor Scanner discovered that the video actually originated from West Bengal.
Misinformation coming out of India.
Depicted a Hindu ritual performed by the Hindus themselves, not an attack. Recently, Chattogram court lawyer Saiful Islam Alif was reportedly killed by a mob of Hindu protesters. After the incident, disinformation quickly spread across social media.
Okay, so I'm bringing this up because what's going on in Bangladesh and the whole world is just, I don't know, India and everything, it's like they want to go to war. Like India, India wants to go to war with Bangladesh because Bangladesh is kicking out this dangerous pedophile cult. Now, think about that. Think about how insane the world is right now. We have two cult people in the Trump administration, and we have a country trying to ban a cult and kick them out for being a dangerous terrorist organization, which they are. Which they are. And India wants to go to war over it. India wants to go to war with Bangladesh because Bangladesh doesn't want this fucking cult in their country. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. So, I don't even know where to go right now. Like, I don't even know. I don't know where the world is going. I really don't. With the cults and the MAGA, because MAGA's a cult. So MAGA's got Scientologists, Hare Krishnas in their cult. They got the MAGA cult has other cults in the MAGA cult. And so I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. Hare Krishna is a dangerous fucking cult, needs to be ended. Scientology, dangerous fucking cult, needs to be ended. But now we got the head of national intelligence is a Hare Krishna, and the Attorney General is going to be a Scientologist. So I don't know. And India wants to go to war to protect a child molesting pedophile cult. So tell me the world isn't fucked up. This is like turning out to be the decade of cults now. It's like cults are really going to feel like they can do anything. Scientology, Hare Krishna is marching in the Martin Luther King Day parade. That is the most disgusting fucking thing I've ever heard. This racist, sexist, child marriage promoting, pedophile cult is allowed to march in the Martin Luther King Day parade. Now tell me the world isn't gone upside down. These people, they call black people Negroes. The black people in the Hare Krishnas, I don't even know what they're thinking. Like, why would you join a cult that hates you? Why would you join a cult that hates you? I'm talking to all the blacks and all the women out there. Women are treated like shit in the Hare Krishnas. They're treated like shit. It talked shit about them in the books. It's about every other page. Women are stupid. Women are less intelligent. Women are 9 times lustier than men. Women can't be trusted. Women are like children. All this stuff. On every other page. Women are Maya. Women agitate men. Nicholas, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. This cult is disgusting. They talk shit about women, treat women like shit. They don't take care of their kids. They molest their kids. They molest their own kids. Children in their own care. In their own schools. It's horrible. And I don't just mean molest them. They torture them, they abuse them, and then they marry them off to old men. It's the most disgusting thing you've ever heard. If they don't want to talk about that, well, they talk about it to themselves. But they don't want the public. There's a lot of shit the Hare Krishnas don't want the public to know. If you just talk to a Hare Krishna on the street and they give you a book and he's going to lie his ass off. Oh, it's a book about meditation. It's not a book about meditation. It's a book about yoga. It's not a book about yoga. Help relieve stress. This book don't relieve stress. It causes stress. It causes stress and anxiety. It causes mental illness is what it causes. Book is full of racism and sexism, pedophilia, Krishna having sex with a bunch of little girls down by the river, Krishna having sex with little girls down by the river. Conjugal. Conjugal love is the highest level of love in the Hare Krishna. It's conjugal. You know what conjugal means? You know what conjugal means? When someone's in jail and they have a conjugal visit, what is that? That's sex. They get to have a conjugal visit. They get to have sex. Well, the highest stage of love with God is conjugal love, right? It's having sex with God. The highest level. That's your highest level right there. I just saved you. If you're a Hare Krishna out there, I just saved you. Highest level is the self-realization means realizing what little gopi girl you are when Krishna bends you over down by the river and fucks you over behind a tulsi tree. That's what Rasa Leela is. That's what Bhava is. That's Madhurya Ras. It's the highest stage. Highest stage is that what the gopis did. The gopis were cheating on their husbands. They left their kids, they left their husbands, and they went off to have sex with Krishna. And that's the highest stage of love, is just abandoning your family and running off to be with Krishna. That's why they put their kids in these boarding schools and run off to play Hare Krishna. Why not? The gopis did it. Gopis didn't give a fuck about their kids. Some of them were breastfeeding. They just put their kid down and ran off to go fuck with Krishna. Take all the spiritual whoop-de-doo crap and let's just look at it what it is. It's fucking disgusting is what it is. Prabhupada says in the first canto of the Bhagavatam, little girls must be married before puberty. Before puberty. That's a violation of human rights. That's stealing a little girl's childhood. Marrying her off to an old man. And she doesn't even get to be a child. 11 years old? Before puberty? She doesn't even get to be a teenager. She just has to just be a wife to some old geezer like me? The fuck is that? This is in their books. This is in the fucking books. Girl wants to sit there and talk about controlling the genitals and controlling this and that and chanting Hare. Let's talk about the real crap. Let's talk about the reality. Let's talk about how women like to be raped. Let's talk about that. Prabhupada says that I don't know how many millions of times in his books. Women are less intelligent. They like to be raped. They're 9 times lustier than men. So what does that tell you? What does that picture of a woman look like? Let's describe that woman. She's stupid. She's horny all the time because she's 9 times lustier than men. So she's just a stupid, horny woman who likes to be raped, who has the mind of a child. That's what Prabhupada says. Let's connect all the dots. Let's connect these dots. Women are basically stupid whores that have the mind of a child. That's what Prabhupada says. So they need to be protected. They need to be protected from the age of 11 their whole life. And Prabhupada says it in his books. That's what they're promoting. Prabhupada says no single women in his movement. There are no single women in his movement. You can be single you can be single until they find you a husband. This is a fucking disgusting cult. I know because I was in it for 20 years. I know all the stinky shit. And I wasn't just like some guy going to the temple every day. No, I was in it. I was in an organization. I was the secretary of the board of directors of the Hare Krishna Society, which was a non-profit organization. We were printing books. We were doing work. We were doing all kinds, opening home temple programs. I was working with a bunch of people. I wasn't just like some guy. I've read all the books. A lot of them I read twice. Been to India numerous times. I've been to India like 15 times I've been to India. I'm not just some guy. I am just some guy. Because I'm not pretending to be a guru or this guy or this dasa or that dasa or whoever the fuck they are, think they are. They think there's somebody. They ain't nobody. They're 70-year-old failures pushing a shopping cart full of books around a Costco parking lot, bugging people to buy books that nobody wants. That's what they are. And they think they're saving the world. Selling books full of racism and sexism and child marriage and all that crap. And they think they're doing something great. They think they're doing something so great that they should be marching in the Martin Luther King Day parade. The fucking arrogance of these people. No self-awareness. Total self-importance. They think they belong in the gay rights parade, the pride parade. They don't even let homosexuals. They only let homosexuals in their movement if they stop being homosexual. So what does that mean? That means you can't be homosexual. Oh, we accept everybody. We accept homosexuals, but you can't be a homosexual. Well, then you don't accept them then. Stop being fucking lying, fake frauds. How come when Brigupati is selling books in the parking lot, he's got to tell them it's a book about yoga and stress relief and meditation? Why doesn't he tell them the truth? It's a book about child marriage, pedophilia. It says women like to be raped and women are less intelligent. Why don't you tell them that? Why don't you tell them that's what's in the books? Instead of lying and tell them that stuff that's not even in there. Because he has a hard time selling them as it is. He ain't going to tell them the truth. Just like any other fucking salesman, he's going to tell them what they want to hear that's going to sell a book. He ain't going to tell them the truth. Last thing he's going to say is tell them the truth. Hey, this is a book. My guru wrote it in the 60s. It's the Bhagavad Gita that nobody wants to read. Look, we say all these people read it, but none of these people read it. They read a different Bhagavad Gita that wasn't this one. Henry David Thoreau did not read Prabhupada's book. Mark Twain did not read Prabhupada's book. These people did not read Prabhupada's books. Hardly anybody that they say read the Bhagavad Gita they didn't read Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. They just didn't read it. It didn't exist. Prabhupada's books are used as textbooks in colleges and universities around the world. No, they're not. Nobody's using Prabhupada's books as textbooks in colleges and universities around the world. The only class that's using Prabhupada's books as textbooks is a book on cults. A class on cults. The only time Prabhupada's name or the Hare Krishnas is brought up in a college or university is when friggin' Briggy Potty is trying to sell him a book on Pasadena City College or El Camino College. Nobody's talking about Hare Krishna on colleges. First of all, Hare Krishna is not Vedic. It's not in the Vedas. It has nothing to do with the Vedas. So any university or college that's teaching about Indian history or Indiology or Hindu mythology or Hinduism or anything like that, they're not talking about Hare Krishna because Hare Krishna didn't even exist. Hare Krishna is not Vedic, and Prabhupada is not a Vedic scholar. He didn't graduate from any college. He didn't graduate from any university. He's got no degree. He's got no doctorate in anything. He never wrote a paper or did anything. He wrote a stupid little magazine newspaper thing. I did that. I did that in 1988. Does that make me somebody? Fuck no. Anybody can do that. Anybody can publish a magazine if you got the money. You write up some stuff. You go down to the publisher and you go, print this out for me. And you pay them. That doesn't take anything. I did it. I'm definitely no fucking genius or anything. Prabhupada was absolutely nobody. He was a nobody. He wrote some books that nobody wanted, that nobody would publish. He had them. He paid to have them printed. It's not like Prabhupada wrote a book and then Simon and Schuster was like, well, we'll publish your book for you, and we'll put it in the bookstores. No. No, nobody wanted to publish Prabhupada's books. Nobody published that crap. He published it himself. He paid for it himself. It's no different than what people are doing now on Amazon. They're writing a book and they publish it themselves on Amazon and it's whatever. And they're like, I'm a writer. Yeah, okay. Okay, you're a writer. Does it, anybody can be a writer, but are you an authority on something? Are you a published author? There's a lot of difference between sitting at home and writing something and publishing it yourself and having Simon and Schuster or Macmillan or somebody publishing your book. Macmillan, I think, published printed 100 copies for him or something. He had a Macmillan copy. And nobody's buying that crap. Nobody's buying that shit. He had a trunk of books he couldn't get rid of. His wife sold him for a box of tea. It's the smartest thing she ever did. Paul is no scholar. He is no Swami. He's a Swami because he joined a cult and the cult gave him a fucking name, just like the fucking cult gave me a name. Who the fuck am I? Who the fuck is Kirtanananda? Kirtanananda Swami? Radhanath Swami? Who's Radhanath Swami? He's Dickie Slavin. That's who he is. Dickie Slavin from New Jersey. His dad was a real estate agent or a fucking whatever his dad was. Little Dickie Slavin. No Radhanath Swami. He ain't Radhanath Swami any more than I'm fucking Sri Mukunda Swami. I ain't no Sri Mukunda Swami. He ain't no fucking Radhanath Swami. No Prabhupada. You really think because some guy, because Yashodananda made a little campfire, and we threw some rice in it, I became Sri Mukunda Swami? There's no Radhanath Swami, Kirtanananda Swami, oh, Bhaktivedanta Swami. Who the fuck are these guys? Who the hell is he? He's a college dropout, worked at a fucking chemistry factory, made some toothpaste that made people's teeth fall out, and then he self-published a newspaper, self-published a book, gets a free ticket on a boat to come to America to start a cult, and somehow he's Bhaktivedanta Swami, God's right-hand man? I mean, come on. He was 22 years old when he had sex with his 11-year-old child bride. What kind of pure devotee does that? What kind of pure devotee when I found that out, I was like, what? What? He was 22 years old. He had sex with his 11-year-old child bride. He couldn't, you want to control the genitals? He couldn't control, he couldn't sit there and go, you know what, I'd rather not have sex at all than have sex with my 11-year-old bride when he's a 22-year-old man. He couldn't think that. He couldn't think that. His guru did. His guru never got married. His guru didn't have sex with an 11-year-old girl. But Prabhupada couldn't control himself. Prabhupada couldn't control himself. That's why his godbrothers knew that this guy was a fucking phony freak. His godbrothers knew that he was nothing. They're looking at him like, who are you? Just like they looked at me like, who are you? Who are you to write a book? Who are you to go to him? Who are you? You didn't even finish college. You're nobody. We've been doing this our whole life. Who are you? You had sex with an 11-year-old girl when you were you couldn't even not do that. We didn't even do that. And then you leave your wife and you go. They're looking at Prabhupada like, who are you? That's why they didn't like him. That's why he didn't like them. Because they knew the truth about him. They knew he was a phony, fake fraud. Just like they were phony, fake frauds. But at least they weren't as phony, as fake as he was. They know a phony fake when they see one because they're phony fakes. This Prabhupada guy. The biggest fucking fraud, fake, con man. Got all these hippies running around thinking he's the next coming of... Got this poor girl thinking he's something special. She's sitting there repeating all his crap, selling his crappy books. Brainwashed. Poor brainwashed girl probably left her family. Now she's in India, milking a cow. Like that other guy's brother. Got talked into following some phony guru. I'll teach you higher levels of whatever. Fucking bullshit. These fuckers come into my chat. This is Lenny108. Lenny. I'll tell you about these Krishnas, man. I'm going to tell you something about these Krishnas. Because I know you guys watch. You so phony. This Tim Lee guy. He's one of the biggest jerks in all of Krishna. In the whole Krishna universe. In the whole Krishna universe. This guy's probably one of the biggest, he's the biggest jerk off of all. And he runs this page. And all he does is document all the crap about the Hare Krishnas, and then he tries to blame it on somebody else. He doesn't want to blame it on Prabhupada or Prabhupada's cult. He wants to blame it on bad people. And he always tries to find a way to blame it on somebody. It's always somebody. And he's always the good guy. He's done everything great. He's never done a bad, but he was the one who dressed up like a gopi. In Los Angeles, he dressed up like a gopi because he read in Prabhupada's books that the gopis were the highest. So a bunch of them, there's like 4 of them, they thought, well, let's dress up like gopis and we'll dance around like gopis and read Prabhupada's books dressed up like gopis. Now tell me how this is not a cosplaying friggin' cult. This is all they do, is cosplay. They cosplay as gurus. They cosplay, I don't know what this is. They cosplay as gurus. They cosplay as swamis and sannyasis and monks. They cosplay as everything. It's just a bunch of cosplay. Because they're not real anything. They're just not, it's just, I mean, there are real swamis and there are real gurus and there are real sannyasis and monks. There are real ones in the world. There are real ones that are actually dedicating their lives to something, some spiritual path. I don't know what that spiritual path is, but there are guys out there that are doing their thing, and they're not part of a cult. They're not part of a child molesting, child marriage promoting, pedophile protecting, women hating, sexist, racist cult. They're just not. They live their life, they go around, they do whatever, and they're not part of a cult. And you don't have to be part of a cult either. You don't have to be part of a cult. You want to be on a spiritual path, you want to chant and do whatever. I don't know why you would want to when you realize it's all fake. Once you realize it's all fake, there's no reason to want to do it. Hare Krishnas are frauds. They're total frauds. So when you realize it's all a fraud, why would you want to do it? But if you want to chant, like if you want to meditate, you want to chant, you can do it without being part of a cult. You don't have to have a guru. The Hare Krishnas are going to tell, oh, you have to have a guru. You have to have a self-realized spiritual master in the parampara. Well, let me tell you right now, I'm going to tell you right now, that parampara is fake and phony. Those people don't exist. They never existed. There is no parampara coming from Krishna to a four-headed guy that grows out of a flower. And then onto a spaceman who's floating around in outer space. And then from him to Vyasadeva. And then from Vyasadeva to Madhvacharya. And then Madhvacharya to Yamunacharya. And from that's all baloney. And that's what I'm saying. If you believe, if once you realize that's all a bunch of baloney, why would you even entertain the idea? Once you realize that Prabhupada is not the spiritual master, he's not this self-realized soul, he's not who you think he is, he's not who he thinks he is, he's not who anybody thinks he is. He's a big fraud. When you realize that, it all falls apart. There's no reason to do any of it. Any of it. Because you can do it without Prabhupada and his cult of pedophiles and pedophile protectors and pedophile gurus and pedophile guru protectors and pedophile temple presidents and pedophile temple president protectors. How do I know? Because my daughter was molested. My daughter was molested and the temple president protected the guy. Right to my face. He said, I can't just kick him out because you say he molested your daughter. Doesn't work that way, he told me. He hasn't been convicted of anything. He hasn't been charged with anything. He hasn't been found guilty of anything. I can't just ask him to leave. Meanwhile, he can ask anybody to leave. Oh, you're smoking cigarettes? Get out. Oh, you're eating meat? Get out. Oh, you're having sex? Get out. Oh, you're gambling? Get out. But the guy that's molesting children, he needs to be charged, a trial, and a conviction before he could even be considered for being kicked out. But if you eat meat or smoke cigarettes or get intoxicated or drink beer, you're out. No questions asked. But molesting a kid? No. And then I find out that there's other molesters in the neighborhood that nobody knows about. Like, oh, I've been in this community for 15 years and I'm just now finding out that this guy over here that I know molested that little girl that I know. No one talks about this. No one knows about it. Yeah, no one knows about it. He's not on a sex offender registry because they don't report their crimes. So no one knows. He's not walking around with a sign that says, I'm a pedophile. He should have. He should have been. You know how many events they had where kids are just running around and this guy's just walking around? This guy's just walking around. Kids all over the place. My daughter, I had no idea this guy was a pedophile. I'm not talking about the guy that had molested my daughter. I'm talking about somebody else. No one told me. People that knew didn't tell me. What the fuck? That is a sick fucking place. They had a guy working in the school who was a child abuser, a molester. And they had another guy who just lived in the community, who was a known molester. And they let them both just live there. Who does that? Who does that in their own community? And then doesn't tell people. And then you have events, you have festivals where kids, and these guys are just walking around. Who does that? Who lets these people just walk around? Where do they get the idea that that's the right thing to do? When the whole world knows that's not the right thing to do. The whole world knows that that is not the right thing to do. But this little tiny group of people think that that's totally okay. It's totally okay, every single one of them. Every single person in that community didn't say a word about this guy. They see me up there with my daughter every single day. Not one person pulled me to the side and said, hey, that guy's a child molester. The temple president didn't tell me. The school teacher didn't tell me. And they both knew about it. The head priest knew about it. He didn't tell me. My friends that knew about it, they didn't tell me until, I don't even remember the circumstances. I don't even remember how it came out, but what my friend told me. He goes, oh yeah, Padma Garva is or the teacher. Maybe it was the teacher. I think it was the teacher that told me. And it wasn't until later. It wasn't until later she tells me, oh yeah, Padma Garva molested the other little girl. How do people stay in a cult like that? I mean, I was in it, but I was misled. I was totally misled into believing that it was something else. So I kind of understand a little bit. But that was damn near 30 years ago. That was like 25 years ago. Over 25 years ago. It's a different world now. There's social media, there's YouTube, there's Wikipedia, there's so much information out there. And that's why I do these videos, because there's just not enough information to counteract their propaganda. It's just not enough. There's too many of these. There's too much of this. There's too much of this going on. That's exactly how people end up in the cult. They see too much of this. And then people end up moving to India and milking a cow. To go milk a cow and get higher levels of learning, higher stages of understanding, higher. There is no higher. When I figured that out, I was so pissed. Oh my God, I was so pissed. The science of self-realization. There's nothing higher. The same shit that you learned the first time you talk to a Hare Krishna, that's the same shit. They just say it a different way, a million different ways, a million different times. It's all the same crap. There is no higher levels of higher anything. It's Madhurya Ras, it's conjugal love, it's becoming a gopi and having sex with Krishna. That's it. If you chant enough, and you worship enough, and you do enough service, and you sell enough books, and all this stuff goes right, and everything is perfect, and you do it all perfectly perfect, you can go back to Godhead, become a little gopi girl that's 11 years old, and you can have sex with Krishna. That is the highest level of friggin' Krishna consciousness. There's nothing higher than that. Highest level is to have sex with God, have sex with Krishna. That's it. That's it. I just saved you. So that's what you have to look forward to. If you haven't figured that out yet, then I don't know what's wrong with you. You should have been able to figure that out right away. Especially with me telling you. So I don't know. I don't know how that makes you feel. Makes me laugh. Yeah. So I'm going to call it a day. Class is over. If you're in a cult, if you're in the cult, you need to get out. If you're in the Hare Krishnas, you need to get out. I know it's tough. I know leaving it is the hardest part of all of it, is leaving it. Your friends are in it. You've invested time in it. Your wardrobe, your haircut, everything is Krishna. And when you think about leaving, it's like a foreign world. You won't even know what would I do all day? What am I going to do when I'm not chanting? What am I going to do? I'm not going to go to the temple anymore. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to. I know it's overwhelming, but you got to do it. You'll be happier in the long run. You'll be happier. It's a little embarrassing at first, but you'll get over it. You'll get over it. Believe me, you'll get over it. You'll get your life back. And you can even start talking about how fucked up it is. Just think about how you can do your own channel about how fucked up the Hare Krishnas are and how you got into it, how you got out of it, and you can warn other people about it so that they don't make the same mistake you did. And that will make you feel so good, knowing that you're actually doing something good instead of bugging people in a parking lot to buy a book they don't want and then lying to them to get them to buy it. That is not a good feeling. So anyway, I hope I helped you come to your senses. I hope I helped you come to your senses, man, and get out of this cult. You got to get out. So thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Keep protesting Scientology. Get out of the Hare Krishnas if you're in the Hare Krishnas. And what else? Have a great day, great night, great morning, great afternoon, great evening. Have some great luck. And watch, let's see. You can watch my commercial.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
I was in the bar for a drink or two. I met a girl named Mary Lou. Her blue jeans were so tight and cut so low. Those jeans were stretched across her butt. On a belt she wore a rabbit's foot, and I couldn't help but see her camel toe. Mary Lou had a camel toe.
Means that และกลับเข้าสู่ My Max All Time BPK1radio.com Whatever, I'll do what I want.
You're listening to Mike's Madhouse on BPK1radio.com.
Worried about God. I'm afraid of what he might do if anything should happen to me.
God, but he's a robot. Without you, what could he do?
There's no limit to what he could do. He could destroy the earth. If anything should happen to me, you must go to God. You must say these words.
Dumalang, Julia Zizzy and ready to Mike's Madhouse, more BKK1radio.com.
And now it's time for the Dumb American on Mike's Madhouse.
Back to dope tunes and stupid talk with White Boy Mike on Mike's Madhouse.